Today is Thursday, August the 12th. I'm going to make this video early before we have the Mcclellan Oscillator number because the advancers trailed the decliners by 15 percentage points. That is going to mean that the Mcclellan Oscillator is going to now dip down towards the neutral line, sort of nullifying its breakout. Mcclellan Oscillator yesterday was positive. It's still going to be positive today, I have a feeling. Well, it is. But it's still going to bring the number down. Now here's the Mcclellan Oscillator number, which has been sort of plateauing down here, and now is going to come back down a little bit more today. But look at this. We don't get these kind of things with the Mcclellan Oscillator. We usually get nice round bottoms, but that is certainly, it wasn't the case here, but then the market didn't do anything in that time. Similarly here, the oscillator is flattening, the summation index is flattening out, and the market is flattening out. We'll have to see what's happened. I still don't get how to read the oscillator, but it's supposed to tell you something about 3 to 6 months out. Let's just watch that. But anyhow, the Dow Jones eked out barely another new high. The NASDAQ is making a run back to its previous high. The S&P did make a new high, and the volatility index just continues to get crushed. So we had this upward trend line that was happening, and now we've got 5 days, 6 days in a row where the volatility index is just getting crushed. Fear is leaving the market. Apple has broken out of its bull flag here, bull pennant. Very nice pop on really good news that there's a big heavy pipeline of buyers waiting for the iPhone 13. Abbott, very impressive thin line cloud support here. Yesterday we said it wasn't unusual to see resistance at the 50, and then for the stock to break the cloud at its thinnest point, because it tried it the day before, but today it got a bounce off that very thin resistance and then moved up. So that's impressive. Did it do it on any volume? Average volume, I would say, maybe a little bit below average volume. Caterpillar, on the other hand, took a bit of a drop back. Where its high was today would be tomorrow's Chiku span hitting the 50. It didn't happen today, but if this were tomorrow's high, that would be the Chiku span hitting the 50. So look for a little bit of a pullback. Let me just draw an arrow here. Let's look at just a little bit of a tiny more pullback, maybe for the stock to pin at 120. And that's why today I sold 120 calls against all of my stock, expiring at $1.25 tomorrow. So I'm hoping to keep the stock, but I see resistance up here at 226. If I lose the stock, I'll wait until Monday for an opportunity to buy back in again. IBM above the 50. The banks moved a little bit higher today. NEO on good earnings dropped. Its gross margin dropped a little bit based on the mix of vehicles. A new, less expensive vehicle is taken over sales. They also said they're going to be shipping a whole bunch of cars to Norway, their first export sales, and that's a good sign. I mean, that should be good for the stock, right? Didn't seem to be good for the stock, but I'm still looking at a short-term, a slow-moving stochastic at the bottom, the fast-moving stochastic coming down, maybe finishing a cycle, and then we could see both of those stochastic lines move up. SAVA surprised me today. I thought R2 114.62 might be its limit for the week. This is the Woody's pivots. This is the weekly pivots, not the daily pivots. But we saw resistance at R3, the weekly pivot. So a nice pullback tomorrow because I've got the 110 short calls on. If I get my stock taken away, I'm going to wait for a pullback down to 107 because it is a bit of a jiggy stock. And I'll just wait for a pullback to buy in again. But I will want to continue to participate in the growth of this stock. Square, nice pullback. Nice, not a nice pullback because I'm holding Square, but I'm short the 280 calls, so that's great. My average on the 280 calls is about $8. They'll expire tomorrow 100% in the profit, bringing my cost on Square down by $8 a share. So it started at the 8 EMA, went down, finished below the 8 EMA. But look at the volume. Really not very significant volume today or any of the days this week. So I wouldn't be too worried, but the stochastics are saying that the stock is overbought because of this massive run-up that's happened. So a little bit of a pullback wouldn't be such a bad thing. So I think the key takeaway is the Mcclellan Oscillator, which is moving back down towards the neutral line and then just continuing this churn here. Last time we saw difficulty getting over the middle line, the neutral line, it went down. Here's a lot of churning happening here, and then it went down. Here's a lot of churning happening here, and it went down. Now here's a lot of churning here, and it went up. So it doesn't always go down, but it does tend to exhaust the buyers, and they give up to the bears a little bit and then come roaring back.